I'm Maron, that's my last name, but I'm Marc Maron. I live here alone with Monkey, Boomer, and LaFonda. They're cats. I had a wife, 2 actually, but they're gone. They're no longer with me. They're not dead. Well, they're dead to me. Well, actually, I'm dead to one. The other one I could probably get back. I have a mother who lives in Florida. I have a brother who lives in Arizona. I have a lunatic bipolar father. I don't know where he is, and that's a blessing. A few years ago, I was planning on killing myself in my garage, and now I'm doing the best thing I've ever done in my life in that same garage. It's a podcast. You know what a podcast is? I've been on Conan O'Brien like 47 times, and you don't know who I am, right?
Is it important that people know who you are?
Who is Marc Maron, really? If you're like me and you're on Netflix a lot, then you probably have seen promotion or even seen the show Glow. I know I did while making this video. Man, research and planning for this took ages. I mean, I started working on this in 2017. Anyway, back to Marc.
Oh, hi, Marc.
No, not that Marc. Jesus.
I get up at 5:30, which quite honestly is bullshit for anybody. 5:30 is bullshit. I mean, is it night? Is it fucking day? What the fuck is 5:30? I don't care who you are, whether you have to wake up for it or you've been up all night for 5:30, it's bullshit. Of course, if you've been up all night for 5:30, you have other problems. Usually, if you see the sun come up at 5:30, you're saying something like, fuck, should we call the guy? You know, no, dude, we ran out at the right time. Fuck you, I need a bump for work. No, fuck you. You got a drug problem. You're gonna tell me I have a fucking drug problem in my apartment, asshole? Yeah, you do. We don't need more blow. Fuck you. I just listened to you talk about your guitar for 4 hours. And you're gonna tell me that I can't have another fucking bump? Get the fuck out of my apartment. Sorry, flashback.
That's better. So Marc is a comedian, a podcaster, and an actor who likes to do different things within his career. And in this video, I'd like to look at those, as well as his personal life, to answer the question, who is he, really? Alright, let's get into this. I want to start with this podcast.
Go on in. Oh, here we are.
It's a program whose name you can't even say over the radio.
It's time for WTF.
What the
And maybe that's the point.
Okay, let's do this. What the f***ers, what the buddies, what the f***ing ears, what the nicks.
Marc Maron doesn't need the public airwaves to do his show. He does WTF out of a homemade studio in his garage. Maron's podcast is regularly one of the top 10 downloads on iTunes.
Like, I'll have an idea of who somebody is, and basically I enter with that. And then I just let the conversation unfold. I'm careful not to avoid, like, if somebody, cured cancer or won an Oscar, I want to make sure I bring that up. But outside of that...
Yeah, be a good idea.
Yeah, right.
He tries to get a feel for who people are, where they grew up, do they get along with their family, and what do they want to do with their future? The big questions. And during this process, we get to see who Marc is too.
And there are people who are needy by design, and somehow you get people to be very honest about that on your show.
That's because I'm needy and infantile.
That's exactly right.
And emotionally shattered most of the time. I think that if you listen to the first 100 or so WTFs, it's really a thinly veiled effort for me to get emotional help from celebrities. That was really,
The therapy's going in the other direction.
Absolutely.
They're Dr. Melfi.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're Tony Soprano.
No doubt. I think the reason that I connect is I need to. I don't feel that I interview people. I feel that I need to connect in conversation and emotionally. I'm very adept at becoming codependent within seconds. Like right now, I'm very concerned about you, and I really need to know where you grew up and what your father did. So that's really the basis of how the thing evolved. It was just I had a lot of people I had ideas about who they were. Like a lot of people I'd known for 20 years, but I never really talked to. Most of the interviews are first encounters with people that I'm familiar with. And then I just sit there and I assume something about them, and then I slowly let them deconstruct my assumptions, and then I get to know them as people.
You started this thing as this kind of side project that has now become massively successful.
Well, wait, is side project code for Hail Mary pass? Because it wasn't a side project. I was really at a loss of where to go next with my own career. I was respected as a comic. I had a good comedy career, kind of, but I didn't really sell tickets. I didn't have a lot going on. After the last job at Air America, I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd just gotten out of a horrible divorce, and I knew people were doing podcasts, so I did it. And I had no expectations out of it, and it seemed to save me in a lot of ways, reconnect me with my peers, the community, with myself. It was a profound experience and continues to be.
WTF started in 2009 and now has over 800 episodes recorded. He talks to artists that we know, whether it's musicians, filmmakers, or novelists, trying to break through what is expected of an interview, getting down into how these people feel and think. Mark then bookends these interviews with what's going on in his life, which connects him more with his audience, which is refreshing. Let's look at his family now.
No, I'm just interested in like your parental dynamic.
Oh,
so,
my
like,
dad
your
was
dad
very
was explosive, and your
erratic
mom?
and a bit bipolar. And my mom
Okay.
was like had eating disorders and
Okay.
was always a little wittier. But I, as time goes on,
So that's where you got your humor?
I think so. But I always let her off the hook for some reason. But I think she's fully on the hook.
I was at a bat mitzvah, my brother's kid's bat mitzvah. It was my job to buffer my father from the world. All right? And I go to pick him up, thinking we're going to my brother's house to see the kids. I say, you ready to go? He goes, where are we going? I said, well, we're going to see Craig's kids. And he goes, what for? And I said, because they're your grandchildren. He goes, some people get something out of that. I didn't get anything out of that.
Well, is that consistent with how you grew up with him?
What, that he's a pathologically selfish, narcissistic, bipolar freak?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me, or am I reading into it?
What I'm asking you is, did you learn anything about you?
Yes.
What did you learn about you?
I learned that I never want to be that. That I have to fight the wiring.
Wow.
What?
I don't think it's going well.
No, we get along fine. He writes me emails in all caps.
The relationship that Mark has with his parents formed who he is today. His parents are divorced, and so is he. Now, I'm not saying there is a direct correlation there. I just find it interesting.
Now, you had problems like your liquor, right? Were you alcoholic?
Drugs, alcohol. Yeah, cocaine and booze. Good times.
Do they go together, by the way?
Well, one will let you drink a lot more. If you're doing cocaine and drinking, you can stay up for a lot more drinking.
Did you stop both at the same time?
Yeah, I stopped. I was fortunate that I was a professional drug user. I mixed it up. I didn't hit too dramatic a bottom, but I was slowly killing myself. And fortunately for me, I was in a fairly unhappy marriage, and I was drinking and using drugs. And a woman appeared at a club, this beautiful woman, who said, I think I can get you help, and steered me towards recovery. And I don't know if I was really thinking about quitting drinking or drugging, but I knew that I would follow her anywhere.
Where did she take you to?
To AA and to into meetings.
Are you friends with her now?
No, we're divorced. That was the second.
You married?
It's not. Yeah, one thing I learned is you can't replace cocaine with a woman because you will exhaust the woman. Yeah, if you get addicted to a person, eventually they will be drained and leave a husk.
Mark is able to channel the challenges that he's had in his past into his creative projects, whether it's his podcast, books, stand-up, or even his semi-autobiographical show, Maron, which details aspects of his life with a fictitious spin on events. But more often than not, the most present part of his life is his cats.
My brother's kids, and I don't really, but I have no problem with them. I just don't have any.
You're better off with cats.
All right, okay,
You have your
here
own
we
cat.
go.
You're like
Yeah,
the cat lady, the crazy cat lady.
Why does it have to be a cat lady?
Ooh.
Why can't there be cat men? Why is it there's?
The crazy cat man, then.
Wow. Yeah, okay. All right. I see where this is going. Look, I'm not a cat guy. No. I like my cats, but I don't like, no.
Yeah.
I have two and a few outside. There's a few.
There's a cute cat.
Oh, no, you have pictures. That's right.
Yeah.
There's the Fonda, and there's a monkey.
Are those professional portraits that you had done?
No, that was taken from my chest, the one on the left, right here.
Portraits.
They're very nice.
Hired someone.
It's just so weird because people when you're a man and you're my age and you live alone with cats, it gets to a point where it's not that endearing. There's a fine line between I don't know.
He's a little sensitive about this.
Well, it's a little weird because people say, like, your cats are like your children. I'm like, no, they're not at all, unless my children are morons that aren't going to change. I mean, there's well, you get a cat. How much is it really going to change? You know, it's not going to win a sports trophy. It's not going to surprise you with a word.
Why do you have them in your life? What do they bring to your life?
What do they bring? I have a conversation with them. I used to think my cats were like skittish because they're wild, because I got them when they were wild. But now I'm actually realizing that it's me, because I am a little neurotic, and sometimes I wake up and I go, like, damn it, and they're like, what's happening? It's been 3 minutes, you know. I'm like, what do you guys want to eat? And they're like, now it's a question. Why is he yelling at us?
But they're not really talking, are they?
In his head, they are.
Al, I don't know your experience with cats, but they are. Well, that's the thing, is that a cat. The thing, they're not like kids, and I'm a little sad about that. The most surprise you're going to get out of a cat, maybe a couple times in your life, you'll hear yourself go, "How'd you get up there?" And that'll be the big mystery.
I was always struggling to make a living. I was never a big draw. I was never a big comic. And somewhere along the line, with show business and disappointment and alcohol and drugs, you know, I got very angry and I got very bitter. And I completely lost my way.
Weathered recovery literature. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I'm that guy. It was just me and Sam just doing rails and him laying down the fucking law. You know, I don't remember what it was, but it seemed very important. And that was the scene until I lost it. Nothing.
Place is still very frightening to me.
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Like, that's the weird thing about the Comedy Store.
Hey, man. How you doing?
I just want to feel comfortable there because I never did.
Experience? Super. Next guy coming to the stage has probably one of the most popular podcasts in the world. Keep it going for Mr. Marc Maron, ladies and gentlemen. Marc Maron.
You guys are good. Almost killed 2 guys recently. That's funny to you people? I was driving down my street, minding my own business, texting. And all of a sudden, there were 2 guys in front of the car. I look up from my phone, I'm like, fuck! And in that moment, I was mad at them. I was like, I'm working in here.
I never had this fantasy of playing enormous arenas. To me, that's paralyzing. I just wanted to be a stand-up comic. I wanted to be liked for being me and for doing what I do.
Hey, look, don't Google mouth cancer images.
Mr. Marc Maron, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together.
I feel satisfied some days that I'm working very hard and that things are going okay. If I let myself, stop the noise in my head and just like look at my life and say, this is it. It's not something about to happen or maybe this will happen. This is the life you're living. And as I get older, you really start to realize that, like, dude, there's no, almost there. You're there. This is it. Okay, well, it's not so bad, is it?
All right, so we're good? Yes. All right, thanks, you guys. Good night. Don't take anything.
So that's it. That's Marc Maron. Hope you enjoyed it. This is a little bit different from the videos that I usually make, so I hope that you got something out of it, or are interested to watch and listen to what Marc has made. Thanks for watching.